Melissa's turn. They had to move the earth around them. Cut your erasers in half. He crumbles it up and thinks it's trash. It's Teacher Appreciation Week and my student gave me these cute little roses. Then the admin came with this rolling cart full of snacks. Got myself a donut, a granola bar, chips, and coffee. Another one of my students gave me this single rose too. And it was really cute because he also got a sunflower for my neighbor teacher. We finished our book cover for our fictional narrative about robots. Tell me this is not the cutest thing ever. I was pretty worried to see where this ice cream conference would go with one of my students because he's a very slow thinker. So when it comes down to spelling out words, his sound and letter recognition isn't as great, but it went by pretty fast. Usually I have a really hard time keeping his attention, but today he woke up feeling great. I have to have students come back after they're done with lunch to either finish unfinished work that they missed or that they were too slow to work on. That's been the past 4 months for me, is doing these conferences during my lunch time. Honestly, that's the only way I can get things done. We also worked on a new phonics rule, OI and OY. I did a very last minute TPR. I don't know if I'll keep this for next year. I made them do like OI, oi, O-Y, because it looks like a Y. Let me show you the king of the jungle, eh? Lion. Mufasa is a lion. Melissa? Oh, Melissa's turn.
A zebra has a pattern on it.
Oh yes, zebras do have patterns on it.
How about the pink zebra?
Thank you. Adrian? It could have felt like a hard day, but it went by so fast where it's just gone. For math, we're working on adding 2-digit add-ins. A majority of my class is getting it now, but there's still like 4 students who is either unorganized with their base 10 blocks or just needs like consistent prompting to know what to do. This is how I teach it right now. I don't know if this is the best way because some of them get confused with like why I circle and why I put a T. What I have the kids do is I have them circle the ones place, then put a T under the tens place. That way, when they're drawing their base 10 blocks, they'll know which one's which. We worked a lot on penmanship. I'm trying to make them finish like 2 pages within 15 minutes. It's so funny because every time we do this, I'm always like top to bottom, nice and neat. Then they'll say it as they write it. But now I'm adding like top to bottom, nice and neat, but fast. We continued working on our continents and oceans. The continents alone, cutting was pretty fast, under like 7 minutes. I mean, that's not really that fast, but for first grade, they made it in time so that I could actually teach something. There's this continent song on YouTube that they just memorize now. We had some malfunctions with the pockets because some of them didn't listen to directions, of course. So now I have to try to like peel some parts off or print more. I had to take out my globe again to show them the size of the continents. All students love to learn with tactile things. Like when I was teaching about the Earth's rotation, this was very helpful too because I had them act like they were the sun and they had to move the earth around them and say the months of the year as it was going around. During lunch too, one of my students gave me a cookie. She just kept asking me all day if I ate it or not. I was also talking to another teacher and how I would want to observe her because I just like watching other teachers teach. And she was like, I want to observe you. I was like, no. She was saying how our SPED teacher spoke very highly of me. One time he walked in for a few minutes, but then he told other people that I teach as if I've been teaching for many years, which I find very hard to believe. I know I'm doing a good job, but I don't know what the expectation is for first-year teachers. I don't get like much feedback besides the 2 formal observations. I haven't really been observed a lot this year. It's just good to know that I'm doing something right. I'm trying to clean up my classroom right now to make sure everything's organized for next year. One thing that I highly recommend to always do is to cut your erasers in half. These kids lose erasers as much as my sister has lost her hair when she was job searching. You will save so much more money, and it's very rare for a student to actually use the entire thing. I am tired after today. For Teacher Appreciation Week, I didn't send out the flyers that it was this week, but some of them I guess heard from other parents. So I got some fruits. One of them gave me an orange this morning. It was funny because he ran in breathing so heavily because when he came in the morning, I wasn't here. Then he walked around and then he came back. Another student got me kiwis. And these are the golden ones, which is the best kiwis ever. Oh my gosh. For Mother's Day, I was working with magnets and I was wondering where the other one went and it got glued to my shirt. This morning, I'm trying to catch up on a lot of learning that we haven't touched yet. Instead of ELA, we're going to be working on science this whole week. Today, I was kind of seeing what the students knew about objects in the sky already. They watched the video, we talked about sun facts, why we need the sun, and then sun safety. I referred to this time when one of the students looked into the sun and his eyes were burning, so he started crying. And then we were like, okay, what could the student have done to be safe? We were supposed to cut it out and fold it. I'm not really sure how this works, honestly. Then we worked on the suffix ly. I'm not sure how I feel about this chart. The ly originally wasn't there, but then I told them how I would change it. So quick to quickly, quiet to quietly. And then I had them fill out these. I did the same down here, and then I had them think of sentences with these words. We've been working a lot on base 10 blocks. They made this little creature. First grade doesn't work with hundreds, so I had to break it down for them. Count your hundreds, put a 2 here. Count your tens, put it in the next place, and so on. We went over the spelling for each. We have like a unicorn. I think this is a unicorn. They said it had wings. They got to draw things on it too. For some reason, this student put a bikini. Afterwards, we continued working on our continents and oceans. All I had them do today was cut out like the 5 oceans. I had to move on to our Mother's Day craft, and I saw this idea off of TikTok. I bought these really small tiles from Home Depot, and it came with like 30 tiles for $3. Originally, I was really scared though, because when I went to go buy it and they scanned it, it said $20. So I was like, oh my gosh, is each one $2? And then I realized that, oh, they scanned my flowers first. Each tile ended up being like 18 cents, which is super worth it to me, especially because this gift can last a lifetime. Originally, the idea was to make this a coaster, but these ones are too small and then the big ones were too expensive. So then I ended up putting magnets in the back. This will turn into a magnet. I just printed out paper in the shape of this, and then the students got to decorate it. The students got to decorate it however they wanted. Then I put Mod Podge. They put it on top. Then I put another layer of Mod Podge to seal it. On Friday, I'm also planning to have them make a little card, and then we'll put it in this plastic bag. This is something I'll definitely do every year as long as the tiles are still selling at Home Depot. My students are starting to get pretty chatty. I feel like I need to move their seats. My expectation for them is to always raise their hand whenever they have a question or comment, but lately they've been shouting out a lot. And when they do, I don't really respond to their question. I don't want them to learn if they keep shouting that I'll eventually answer them, which has happened a couple times. It's definitely hard to be consistent with holding the expectation, because sometimes like I slip up myself, even though it's not on purpose on their end. It's just something that they learned. One of my students bought this little diamond treasure thing. She gave me 1 out of 3 of her rocks. It's so cute how they think of me for all the little things. Today for teacher appreciation, what the school had students do was draw your teacher as a superhero. This was the funniest thing to see in the morning. I had another parent draw and then their child traced and colored it. This is actually really cute. Now I regret not sending out the flyer because I would have loved more of these. Instead of ELA, science all this week. We learned about day and night. I played a video on nocturnal animals. Just sorted what you do during the day, what you do at night, which animals are awake during the day and night. Wednesdays are my big writing days. So I went back to opinion writing. I went back to making them decide what their favorite season was. Came up with all these different reasons why someone would like each season. I had them take out their writing guide, which is this that I made. It basically tells them like which each writing is, and then sentence frames for each and how the writing is structured. This is actually so handy. I want to do it next year, but then do it throughout the year, like as we're learning the writing, and make it more student made. But I don't know what idea I'll have for that yet. We had our new teacher meeting after school, and it was just about open house, what to expect. I learned that I need to have like labels with standards for everything that's being posted. Then we met our new principal for next year. He seems like a really good person. He's talking about how he's in full support of teachers, and he wants like everyone to come to school being happy, teachers to be happy with their job. Something that I really want to improve is increasing student engagement and buy-in. Honestly, I'm a sergeant with them. Like sometimes we'll have our laughs, but most of the time I'm very serious with them, especially when it comes to meeting my classroom expectations. I don't know. I'm learning to have a balance with it. I get a little self-conscious when people walk through the door because like in my head, school should be fun. But at this school specifically, the rigor is so intense that it's hard to make it fun. And I know like the other first grade teacher who is also new to the school. She's able to make it very fun, but she's also had a lot of years under her belt. For me, I'm working more on classroom management and teaching myself what I have to teach them. I get compliments for the way that I teach because I have a yard duty assistant who comes in every day for a couple minutes to help a few students with their fluency. And anytime that I'm gaining their attention, like she says that I'm doing a really good job and she boasts about me. For example, today I pressed the doorbell, all of them had their hands on their head, they were looking at me and it was dead silent, and then she made that face like, that's pretty good. I wasn't really trained on the best practices that are done at this school because the school is very specific with how things are taught and the ways that they're taught. But with the whole shift in having two principals throughout the school year that are polar opposite from the school's principal that they've had for so many years, I don't feel like I was really trained all that much. This was by far one of the hardest management days. Usually in the mornings it's easier for them to follow directions, but this morning, jeez. We were learning about objects in the sky, so we did this little flip thing. They have a project on this too, so I made sure that they were really paying attention so that they know how to do it at home. I was giving one-step directions, doing it one at a time, but I had students still cutting across here or cutting this page instead of the top. This one's actually really cool. Again, I was telling them simple directions like cut a circle, don't cut the sun rays, but I still had students cutting the sun rays. I said, don't use glue. I made sure everyone repeated, we're not using glue. Then I asked one of my students, who usually doesn't follow directions, are we going to use glue? He says no. Then he uses glue. For this, I told one of my students, glue it in the corner. He crumbles it up and thinks it's trash. This page is really cool because it teaches them about Earth's rotation and it actually turns around. Because of that morning, the rest of my day was just like, okay, I'm tired. Well, I woke up tired. We also finished our continents and oceans, so all of them have this now, or at least they're supposed to have it. During this, one of my students who I had a really hard time with at the beginning of the school year, and he's made the most behavioral improvement. He decided to throw scissors across the table and it hit another student. So I sent him to the office. He was crying, but I was like, you know not to throw scissors. Get out this piece of paper so that they can write a note, and then I bought these bags to fit it, and then the magnets will just go right here. I should have made them like draw something really colorful because a lot of them kind of look white. I definitely need to get sleep tonight so that I'm not drained tomorrow. I'm going to try to start our plant project. Here everything is. This one is like this Play-Doh. I think it's made so that they can create their own vase, but I don't think I can manage that with this class tomorrow. Here's some beans, soil, and then the cups. I also need to buy lollipops because they met their star jar, which is whether or not they line up, walk out, walk back nicely. Also today I got these socks from admin. I got more flowers, this cute decoration, some gummy bears, and then chocolates. This one's pistachio, which I'm really excited to try. I'm currently taking all of their writings for the entire school year and sorting it by date. Today was one of the best days, and it's crazy how different it was from yesterday. Part of it was because at the end of the day I had something to bribe them with. I talked about rotation. I tried to make it more visual for them by putting tape here so that it can show the arrows as it rotates, but now the tape is so sticky that it won't come off nicely like this. So this globe is ruined. Thankfully I have 4 more, but that's so sad because I wanted one for each table. We were working on text features with the science packet because we have to review our focus standards, but I also need to cover science, so might as well do both. We made a little color code, only got to read and color code 2 pages. The reason was because I wanted to try this thing where I would go through each section or each sentence and have them think of a question. I wanted them to create a question that way that when they read, they're asking themselves questions. So for example, in the morning, the sun is in the east. You could ask, where is the sun in the morning, or when the sun is in the east, and that way the answer is like right in the text. That's one of the teaching strategies here, but I haven't really been trained on it yet, so I kind of have to test it out myself. Afterwards, Oh my gosh. Last night, I spent time taking all of the writings from beginning of the year to now. I started this a while ago, but I put it in order, and then I just had this giant stack of papers. Last night, I was able to put all 22 students' work together. When I was doing my ice cream writing conferences, one of them was missing. When I checked that student's folder, it wasn't there. I checked bottom to top, and the paper was this second one. So if I were to check top to bottom, I would have found it right away. That gave me a little panic attack. I thought I might have thrown it away on accident. For lunch today, we had parents make us food. So there was like this buffet of food, and I got a plate full of it. I'm still not done. And then one of my students' parents bought this big giant plate of shortbread cookies with powdered sugar. There were over 25 of them. So I told them, if you're able to watch me model for 6 minutes, I will give you a handful of duckies and I will open it in front of you. Because earlier it was like all covered. And they love watching me unwrap gifts. It was so crazy because when I asked them questions about what I was modeling, all of them knew the answer. Crazy how much bribing them works, even though I shouldn't. Afterwards, we finished our gifts from Mother's Day. All they had to do was create the note now, and then I gave them a bag and they were able to put their magnet in. We surprisingly got to our plants. They were really good at following directions. A bunch of the plants outside now, and today's a really hot day. It'll be perfect for our plants to get some sunlight over the weekend. I got these beautiful, beautiful flowers too. Like, these are so nice. This one, I'm not sure what kind of flower this is. I don't think it's a carnation. Then I got these roses too. I forgot to mention this funny thing. When we were doing our CVCE words, there was this one picture that I wasn't really sure what it was either. I knew that it had to have a U. Some students thought it was notes, which it could be notes, but then I had to like look through my answer key and I was like, give me 5 seconds. Then they started counting down on me because I always do a countdown on them. And I was like, you don't gotta do it on me. Now I need to look at the other words because some of them I'm not sure of either.